Hello everyone, I think you may have noticed lately, there's more and more talk about Polymarket and prediction markets. And in fact, that's not for nothing, because this field is really gaining momentum and becoming increasingly popular. In my last video on this channel, I talked in more detail about the specifics of earning money in this area. And I received a lot of questions from you regarding services and analytics. So in this video, we're going to dive into these topics in more detail. I want to point out that there are many different options available. You can make money on prediction markets through various means, from arbitrage of different bets to copy trading and other trading strategies. Personally, I've realized what interests me the most. The area that interests me most is copy trading. Why is that? Because essentially, we don't have to place bets ourselves. We can use the wallets of other experienced traders who have more expertise and a broader perspective in a particular area. And these traders place bets with a very high win rate. So basically, we can simply copy their trades. And there are actually a lot of such wallets out there. That's why lately I've been focusing specifically on finding tools that help identify these wallets. Essentially, insider tools that allow you to analyze them and of course to copy trade. In other words, to automatically replicate their trades. Of course, there are quite a few such services, but I personally settled on one service that I'm actively using right now. It's called Spectra. So in this video, I'll go into detail about the Spectra service itself and also explain my approach, which you can also adopt for finding and analyzing wallets for copy trading. And of course, we'll also look at how to automatically copy the trades of experienced traders in the prediction market. Alright, I won't waste any more words. Let's get straight to the point and go through everything in practice. So let's start with the Spectra service itself. Essentially, it's a Telegram bot that offers a very wide range of features, as I mentioned earlier, from analyzing and searching for wallets to advanced trading functionality. First and foremost, in order to use the bot, you of course need to create a new wallet within the bot and top up your balance. To do this, we go to the wallet section. In my case, I already have a wallet created, but you will need to create one. And what do you get after that? The wallet address. And of course, you also need to export the private key so that you always have access, even outside of this bot, to your funds. In other words, you can connect this wallet, for example, to MetaMask and manage your deposit there going forward. At this stage, I want to immediately point out an important detail. In fact, Polymarket has many features which we will discuss with you now, and that's why the bots also have certain features. For example, in this case, we have, let's say, several addresses. First and foremost, this is the address we use for deposits, that is, the deposit address. Here we can see that deposits are available in USDC. Personally, I deposited USDC to the EVM address specifically on the Polygon network. You can top up from a regular decentralized exchange, for example. And for actual trading, an internal address will be used. And as you can see, here we already see a different address. So in this case, this is our trading wallet. And for deposits, it's specifically the address for topping up. Overall, nothing critical will happen if you mix them up. You'll just need to do an extra conversion. In the bot, you'll also have a button here. And basically, you'll still be able to continue trading, but it's just more convenient if you deposit directly. I also recommend using the internal deposit address. Before you start trading with large amounts, it's best to make a small deposit and play around with the bot until you get used to it. Get familiar with the functionality, figure out all the details, and only then gradually increase your deposit. Basically, this wallet of mine is also a test one, and right now, as you can see, I have 11 USDC available in my balance, 24 USDC in positions, and the total displayed balance is $36. Overall, I don't think you'll have any issues with topping up your balance, and withdrawals work the same way. You just go to the wallet section, and there's a send button here. Simply withdraw your USDC to any convenient address, also on the Polygon network. In fact, this bot has a lot of advantages, which is why I chose to work with it. Now let's talk about everything in detail. And let's start from the beginning, specifically with trading. First of all, I want to point out that we can make regular trades here. Let's go to the market section. And basically here we see different categories that we can place bets on. Of course, we can also bet on any event simply by taking the link from the market field itself. Of course, you also need to have a basic understanding of how to work with the market field. I already have a video about this on my channel, so if you haven't figured it out yet, I recommend checking it out. Right now, I've selected this event, and to place a bet, you just need to copy its link. After copying the link, I go to the bot and send the link to the event. Here, I choose any outcome I want to bet on. For example, let's say it's this event. Here we select what we want to bet on. For example, we can choose no. And then accordingly, we enter the amount and confirm the transaction either with a limit order or a market order. Well, in this case, of course, opening with a market order will be faster. Basically, here we see the trade confirmation and click confirm. It literally takes just a few seconds to open the trade. And now basically we can already view this position in the portfolio section. Let's go there. In the portfolio section, we see all the current bets I have open, and we can also manage them. That is, we can go into each individual event, and for example, we can sell a position right now. It's basically at break even. Let's sell it now. I click sell, choose the percentage, but basically I want to close everything. Let's do 100% and also click sell. The sale went through successfully, and after that we get this little window showing how much we earned or lost on this particular trade. Another important point. After your trades are closed on the market field, it's important to claim the funds, to claim the amount specifically from the closed positions. After that, it will be available to you again. You can also do this on your trading balance through the portfolio mode. Let's go here, and now I'll close all positions as well. Click sell all and pay attention. If we go to the portfolio section, there's a redeem button here. Basically in this section, we can claim our positions. In this case, mine have already been claimed, meaning the funds have been credited to my balance, but sometimes you need to do the claim manually here. I also have auto redeem enabled right now. You can enable it too, but keep in mind that sometimes you have to claim manually. So if you see that a trade is closed but the funds haven't been credited to your balance yet, you can go to this section and check whether you've claimed the position or not, your position or not. The next thing I want to mention is that in the future, AI signals are planned for the bot. That is, the AI will analyze the market and automatically provide the most suitable bets, which are most likely to be profitable. Accordingly, you'll be able to trade automatically on these events, but it will take some time for the team to finish developing this feature. So, for now, just keep in mind that this section is on pause. The next point concerns orders. It is specifically in the orders section that we can manage all our orders and limit positions, set, take profits, and stop losses. In general, you can do all this work here. Now let's move on to the most interesting part, the whales section. This is exactly where we can work with wallets. Note that here we can set filters, for example, by win rate, by P&L, by volume, by activity over the past few days, and by the number of trades. In this case, pay attention, the filters are being set. Right here, you go in and can set any value you want. In this case, I have set a win rate of 80% and a P&L of $10,000 over the last 30 days, plus a volume greater than $10,000. The wallet's last activity was 3 days ago, so in this case we only see active wallets from recent times and no more than 500 predictions. This is actually an important point. Why? Because there are a lot of wallets that make trades using so-called algorithms. In other words, bots are operating, and it's unlikely you'll be able to copy trade them profitably. That's why it's important to filter out such wallets. So it's important for us to find traders who essentially move carefully, place bets rarely but accurately, and have a high win rate. They are also active and don't have too many predictions. As a rule, I set the limit here to 500. You can choose any other value by clicking the button. All of this is easy to edit in this case. Let's keep these settings and go back to the list of wallets that we get from this export. Please note that in this case, with these filters, I have more than 1,000 wallets in my database. And basically, here you can flip through the pages and see all the wallets that match the current filters. Let's take an example and go through how I work with wallets and what you should pay attention to here. Let's open the first wallet in the list right away. By clicking, we can simply go to it. In its profile in the marketplace field, we end up in the wallet's profile. And here the first thing I look at is this. It's important to check that its balance grows steadily and, accordingly, that there are no sharp fluctuations. Yes, so if there are sharp fluctuations, it's risky to copy trade such a wallet because at any moment it could put you in the red. In this case, I like the balance chart. It grows gradually and smoothly. This means that the person makes trades without rushing. The trades have a high win rate, and overall, he has a good P&L over the long term. I also look at the date. Notice that when I click here, it shows when the person started trading. For example, in this case, we can see that it was around October, the 29th, or even a bit earlier, the 28th. And gradually, he grew his deposit to this amount. And we can see that, essentially, this chart has changed in recent days. So the wallet is currently active. Also, pay attention to the number of predictions. In this case, he has 64 predictions. So this is not a bot, and he makes trades rather rarely, but accurately. It's important to go to the activity section and check when he made his last trades and how often he makes them. In other words, how many trades does he have? Usually per day. Sometimes there are thousands of trades in a single day, and of course, it's extremely risky to copy such wallets. We can also see how he trades, what events he opens, how he acts, whether he averages down, adds to his position, or follows a specific strategy precisely. Also, in the positions section, we can look at his closed trades in the closed section. Selected. Specifically, filter by date, and essentially, we can see how profitable his trades have been recently. And here it's important that the series of trades is positive and that there aren't long stretches where he has a lot of losses in a row. In this case, the wallet is trading quite positively. In other words, as you can see, he has a lot of profitable trades in a row with very few losses. Overall, a very interesting trader. Basically, he's the first one we come across right after the upload. As an example, I opened another wallet. Notice that he also has a steadily growing P&L. He started literally with a small amount, about $30. He started on January 7th and essentially in a month increased his deposit by more than 100 times. A very interesting wallet, trading with a small balance. And notice, he also doesn't have many predictions, just 127 bets. If we look at his activity, he's also quite active. In the last few hours, he even made a lot of bets. And if we look at his closed trades specifically, let's filter them as well, we can see the same thing. He has a streak of profitable trades and his win rate is very good. So, as you can see, finding wallets through the bot is quite simple. The only thing is, if you find an interesting wallet, it's better to start with a small amount, see how it performs, and if the trend is positive, then gradually increase the entry amounts for it. Next, if you like a particular wallet, you can also check it further using the bot. To do this, click Check Wallet here. We need to paste the wallet address. We can also copy the wallet address from the marketplace field, copy the address, go to the bot, paste the address, and in just a few seconds, we get a brief summary about that particular trader. Right now, the summary looks like this. That is, there is detailed information about their statistics for the day, week, and month. And in general, this way we can clearly see, once again, that the wallet is profitable, and we can also go to other tabs. For example, we can look at open positions. Right now there are none, and we can also view closed positions. Let's go back. You can also analyze the wallet through A. So let's do that, and basically the dashboard also gives us a brief summary for a particular wallet. And we can already understand how interesting it is for us for copy trading or not. But if you decide to copy trade a particular wallet, we just go back again. Here we have the subscribe to copy trade button. We click it and go directly to the menu, copy trading. Here we can set the exact ratio. At what ratio will we copy trade? Copy trading at 100% means 1-to-1. We can choose two modes, in dollars or in percentages. In this case, I set it in dollars and specify the maximum amount, for example, $5 maximum per entry for this wallet. And it's better to set the minimum to at least $2 or $3, but in this case, let's make it $3. I leave take profit disabled, and that's basically it. Now my wallet is already set up for copy trading. And if we go to the copy trading section, here we can see the wallets that are currently active for us. You can also go in and, for example, disable a particular wallet. To do this, you simply click delete, or you can pause it. Another really cool feature of this bot is that you can receive entries based on insider trades. To do this, we need to go to the whales section, and here you need to enable alerts. Go to the alerts section, and basically, you can select the entry amount at which you'll receive a notification. An alert will be triggered when a particular wallet, which is essentially a fresh one, meaning it was just created, enters a trade and opens a trade for a large amount. In this case, I have it set to $100,000. And so whenever a fresh wallet makes a trade, I basically get alerts. You can specify your own values here, your own parameters. This is also a really cool feature, and often this way you can spot insider trades because, as a rule, insiders create fresh wallets so as not to draw unnecessary attention, and basically they quietly trade stories like this. I also want to note that this bot has a 3-level referral system, and if you are a public figure, you can also contact the team. They can offer you enhanced referral terms, and basically you can earn extra income by scaling up this service as well. And let's also take a look at the settings section. Right now, here we only have the language switch mode, meaning you can choose either Russian or English. So, as you can see, the bot is as simple and as efficient as possible. Those are its main advantages. I want to point out that this bot has the lowest commission on the market, just 1% per transaction. Meanwhile, other services can charge up to 3%, which of course can really hurt in the long run, especially if you're dealing with large amounts and making a lot of transactions. Another major advantage of this bot is that the speed of opening and closing trades, as well as the speed of copy trading, is very high. Compared to competitors, In fact, I have tested many different bots, and in my opinion, this service is the fastest. In copy trading, speed is also crucial, so this is an extremely important point. I also want to remind you of a very important point regarding when it comes to security while working with bots. I always adhere to it 100%. And of course, there hasn't been a case where the service I use has been hacked, but still, this is crypto. Anything can happen here. That's why we never keep large amounts in trading wallets, only the trading deposit, so as not to take on excessive risks. So that's the review for now. In the next videos on the channel, I'll try to give you even more information about Polymarket, as well as about working with tools that give us an advantage when trading on Polymarket. And in general, I'll keep you updated on any updates to this service. In my upcoming videos, I'll try to give you even more useful approaches and tools for working with the Polymarket direction. And of course, I'll be providing updates on this service. I know the team has quite an extensive roadmap, so make sure to keep this service in mind. All the links will be in the description, and that's all from me for now, but this isn't goodbye. See you soon.